Joseph Conrad's literary works, particularly those that depicted the brutality of European imperialism, were often disturbing and thought-provoking. His narratives delved into the darker aspects of human nature and the consequences of European expansion and dominance. Conrad's upbringing was marked by his Polish heritage. Born into a Polish family named Korzeniowski in Ukraine, his parents were fervent Polish nationalists. They named him Konrad after a character in a poem by the Polish nationalist poet Adam Mickiewicz. This connection to his cultural roots might have influenced Konrad's exploration of identity, power dynamics, and the human condition. Writing under the pen name Joseph Conrad, he produced numerous stories centered around Europeans venturing beyond Europe's borders. However, his most renowned work in this vein is Heart of Darkness from 1899, a deeply impactful tale set in Africa that lays bare the moral darkness of European traders engaged in imperialism. Despite allegations of racism against Conrad, his portrayal of European imperialists, including the enigmatic and power-hungry Kurtz, illustrates his perspective that Europeans could indeed be brutal, greedy, and barbaric. Conrad's narrative challenges the romanticized notions of European colonization and exposes the grim reality concealed beneath the veneer of imperialist propaganda. His literary focus resonated with the themes explored by Zola and Ibsen, unpleasant realities concealed beneath social facades. While Conrad didn't view himself as a naturalist like Zola, he shared a kinship with Zola's commitment to unveiling uncomfortable truths. His engagement in the late 19th century political debates showcased his willingness to use his platform to address significant social issues. Conrad's literary theories were influenced by his fascination with the early Impressionist movement, which aimed to capture the nuances of light and reality without sentiment. This approach is evident in his writing, where he stripped away romanticized notions and focused on portraying events and characters with a raw and unembellished realism. Conrad's works thus confronted the disturbing aspects of European imperialism and human behavior. His exploration of hidden realities and willingness to address challenging themes made him a literary figure akin to Zola and Ibsen. His engagement in political debates and his connections to Impressionist ideals further enriched his contribution to literature, reflecting his commitment to exposing harsh truths and shedding light on complex human experiences. Heart of Darkness offers a chilling psychological exploration of the roots of malevolence within individuals and society at large. This work can be perceived as a link connecting the established structures of 19th century novels to the inventive and audacious narrative styles that gained prominence during the early 20th century modernist era. According to various analyses tracing the evolution of the English novel, Conrad rightfully finds his place alongside literary luminaries like Virginia Woolf and James Joyce. These authors collectively ventured into groundbreaking narrative techniques, novel character portrayals that were hitherto unexplored, and paradigm-shifting linguistic innovations within their literary creations. However, while Conrad's views align with those of Woolf and Joyce in terms of the indispensability of pushing the boundaries of narrative form and expression, his approach and perspective diverge in certain aspects. Considerable discourse exists regarding Virginia Woolf's theories concerning the central themes of novels and the manner in which contemporary authors should endeavor to uncover truth and imbue characters with vitality. Woolf herself expounded on these notions in her essay Modern Fiction, penned in 1925. According to Woolf's perspective, novelists should direct their attention toward the everyday perceptions experienced by ordinary individuals during routine days. The novel, in her view, serves as a vehicle to capture and convey these impressions, employing any stylistic approach that the author deems fitting. In contrast, Joseph Conrad's stance on the role of the artist remains relatively less explored. Given that Conrad's literary contributions predate Woolf's by several decades, it is unsurprising that the innovative stream of consciousness technique initially linked to the works of early 20th century authors had not yet been a focal point of his discussions. Having spent a significant portion of his formative years at sea, employed by both the French and English fleets, Conrad's life journey led him to diverse corners of the world. These exotic landscapes, most notably the Malay Peninsula, which serves as a backdrop for Victory and Lord Jim, and the dense heart of the Congo jungle, immortalized in Heart of Darkness, served as the evocative settings for his many novels. While the geographical locations themselves hold a certain significance, what truly matters is the innovative manner in which Conrad harnessed these unfamiliar territories. By transporting his characters beyond the familiar confines of Western Europe, Conrad artfully designed experimental environments that facilitated his profound explorations. These uncharted territories essentially served as controlled environments wherein he could meticulously delve into the intricate nuances of human nature and social dynamics. Regarding style, Conrad placed significant emphasis on captivating the reader's senses as an artist. When striving to unveil the genuine essence of specific events or individuals, an artist can only truly tap into the hidden reservoir of the reader's empathetic feelings by directly or indirectly engaging their senses. Consequently, Conrad assigned paramount importance to the meticulous crafting of sentences, understanding that their structures imbues words with capacity to profoundly impact the reader. The evocative potential of words becomes tangible through an unwavering commitment to shaping and infusing sentences with suggestive power. By resonating with the reader's senses on an aesthetic plane, Conrad aimed to uncover instances of truth embedded within particular events and actions. Despite his profound exploration of the psychological ramifications of circumstances and locales on characters, Conrad is primarily categorized as a moralist. He believed that truth existed, waiting to be unearthed, and it was the duty of novelists to illuminate this concealed verity for readers. However, even while advocating for the universal nature of the moral principles they champion, moralists must focus their attention on specific events, characters, and locales. Ford astutely observed that Conrad's approach to fiction centered on seizing a subject by its very core until every ounce of dramatic potential had been extracted from it. A novel, according to this perspective, should encapsulate an affair, a singular entanglement, a particular web of complications, a distinct human intricacy, a unique psychological progression. Conrad highlighted that the choice of subject, although pivotal, marked just the commencement of the task. He expounded that when engaging with this chosen subject, a novelist's objective was to capture its resonance, its hue, and its contours. Through its dynamic motion, distinct contours, and vivid shades, the novelist aimed to unveil the essence of its authenticity, unraveling its enigmatic revelations. Furthermore, Conrad not only aspired to expose truths to the reader, but also, on certain occasions, positioned characters within the same circumstances as the reader. For instance, Marlowe, the narrator in Heart of Darkness, conveyed that the tale he was about to recount seemed to cast a unique illumination on everything around him and within his thoughts. This narrative thus functioned on a dual plane, revealing not only truths about Mr. Kurtz, Africa, and European society to the reader, but also, within the narrative's context, illuminating realizations for both a character within the story and the reader. In terms of his role as a moralist and his commitment to truth's revelation, Conrad's artistic approach doesn't align with the characteristics of modernism. Notably, renowned English novelists of the 18th century, such as Daniel Defoe, Samuel Richardson, and Henry Fielding, essentially shared the stance of moralists, employing literature to unearth truths about their contemporary society. While Conrad's thematic alignment with this tradition might not classify him as a modernist, the format he chose to unveil these concealed truths in his novels does connect him with the modernist movement. Both Conrad and Woolf converged on a pivotal point, both underscoring the paramount significance of an artist's focus, Conrad's unveiling of truth and Woolf's exploration of consciousness. This heightened emphasis on content, however, led to the restructuring of traditional forms. Woolf, critiquing the stylistically conventional novelists of her time such as H. G. Wells, Arnold Bennett, and John Galsworthy, advocated for a departure from the established structures of the novel. As a result, Woolf relinquished conventional plot development, in-depth character scrutiny, and the necessity for events to adhere to likelihood, as demonstrated in Orlando, all to focus unwaveringly on the essence and spirit of the characters she endeavored to animate within her novels. Conversely, Conrad, while diverging significantly from Woolf in his approach to presentation, actually shared a resolute accord with Woolf's aforementioned assertion. Although Conrad's experimentation in writing wasn't as extensive as Woolf's in her later works, he remained acutely aware of the imperative to break free from the established novelistic conventions in order to truly embody the essence of an authentic writer. By defying the constraints of temporary formulas, Conrad gained the freedom to engage in explorations of novel narrative techniques and plot structures. This freedom also afforded him the opportunity to shift his focus toward delving deeper into the inner realms of characters rather than relying solely on the questionable objective reality. These narrative experiments are the bedrock of Conrad's prowess as a masterful storyteller. The triumph of the modern non-linear plot structure is best exemplified in his magnum opus Nostromo. While the plot of Heart of Darkness adheres primarily to linear progression, occasionally hopping ahead to elucidate the aftermath of forthcoming events, works like Nostromo, Lord Jim, and Victory showcase Conrad's genius in crafting intricate and captivating plot architectures. Nostromo, in particular, boasts a plot of such intricacy that critic Walter Allen, writing in 1954, hailed it as the most highly organized novel in English, apart from perhaps the late James or Joyce's Ulysses. The striking effects of depth and perspective achieved within it are a direct result of its meticulous arrangement. Through the employment of techniques such as flashbacks, varying narrative perspectives, subjective narrators, and penetrating psychological analyses, Joseph Conrad finds his artistic kinship with the modernist movement. However, his measured approach to employing these techniques accommodates both enthusiasts of traditional storytelling and proponents of modernist experimentation. Conrad demonstrated an ability to experiment within his fiction, while retaining the accessibility that much of high modernist literature seems to have relinquished. Moreover, the thematic subjects he chose for exploration, maintaining the moral compass of traditional Victorian novels, allowed him to resonate with readers in what historian Eric Hobsbawm termed the Age of Extremes, a period characterized by the questioning of established values and the rising scrutiny of the detrimental effects of European practices worldwide.